Welcome to the Sim Podcast Show. I'm your co-host, Eric, and I'm always joined by my co-host, Ron. What a Ron.
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis, including the playoffs. Ron, this is episode 124, season 5. We're going to talk about our awards, our over and unders, and anything else related to NFL. So tell me, where are you right now? Last week, we talked about the Steelers roster. We were supposed to do the Giants, but not fell through. So we're doing the award shows now. Where are you, Ron? Are you still feeling good? What have you seen lately?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I feel pretty good about my team, the Steelers. No major injuries at this point. I think that's all like anybody can like hope for at this point during the preseason and during training camp and stuff like that. So we've avoided major injuries. Want to get through the rest of the next like 2-3 weeks without missing anyone, and we're good to go.
Yeah, it's all about the next man up.
Yep.
So let's just get to the nitty-gritty. Let's start off with awards, or what we predict is going to win the awards for this year coming up. So let's start with the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Who you got?
Yeah, some interesting choices, some really good choices out there with players who were hurt last year. I was leaning towards Hutchinson, but I'm going to give this award to Dak Prescott. I think he's going to have a bounce back season. There's a lot of eyes that'll be on the Cowboys this year with all the nonsense that's going on this offseason, but I think that team is going to bounce back a little bit. I like obviously them adding like George Pickens to the receiving room. I think Prescott's going to have a pretty good year.
Yeah, I went with McCaffrey. San Francisco, to me, is going to be a big bounce back. They're going to get, first of all, they got an easy schedule, which we'll talk about later. But then, last year, everyone was injured. This year, I think they're gonna make that leap into like a contender again. Who's your offensive rookie of the year, Ron?
Yeah, I'm going with Travis Hunter. I think, he'll be on the field a lot, playing both ways. I think he'll mostly be focused on offense, though, and he'll have his biggest opportunity to make an impact on offense. They'll rely on him a lot, and it's just easier to make plays on that side of the ball. I think he's going to have a good season and win Rookie of the Year.
Ron, don't be too shocked, but I'm going to go with Trayvon Henderson.
Shocker.
Listen, if that preseason game was anything, and I've heard great things in practice.
What did he do in the preseason?
Everything.
What did he do?
He catches.
Yeah.
He returns balls. This dude is electric.
Yeah.
He runs the ball.
But he's still going to be second string.
I think Josh McDaniels is going to use him. He's going to be like third back, passing back. He's going to get his plays.
Listen, huge pickup for the Patriots. Henderson was probably, besides Gentry, the most explosive running back coming out this year. So he's going to have a huge impact on that team. And I think the Patriots are going to do the right thing and not necessarily make him a workhorse or anything like that. Just have him come in on a rotation.
No, he's going to be on rotation. Even though they say that he's a good passing blocker.
Yeah, he is. But let him do things like kick return. Let him, go out as a third down back, catch a lot of balls, and they'll use him the right way. I think so.
Josh McDaniels loves using the screen, and I can see him using him as a screen game.
You're right.
Who's your defensive rookie of the year?
I'm going with Abdul Carter. I wasn't too sure about how his game would translate to the NFL because he's so undersized. And I'm still uncertain, too, how they're going to use him with just having all the outside linebackers on the Giants. But he appears to be really having a good camp. And I'm going to give him the defensive rookie of the year.
I'm going to go with Jalen Walker for the Atlanta Falcons. So let's be honest. Defensive rookie of the year, that is really, anybody can get it.
Right.
It's just, there wasn't much research. It's just random. I just he went high in the draft. He's from Georgia. He's hometown guy. I picked him to win the rookie of the year. Who's your offensive player of the year, Ron?
I'm going Jamar Chase. I think he's going to easily repeat the numbers he put up last year for the most part. So I think he's the best offensive player in the league. So why not give him the award?
Yeah, same here. I think him and Joe Burrow, they're on a mission. And if they put up the same numbers or even better than last year, Jamar Chase is going to win this outright. Who's your defensive player of the year, Ron?
TJ Watt. And I'm predicting a comeback for him this year. I think last year, not sure I think he was like 10 sacks maybe, which is low for him. I think he'll bounce back and get 20, close to 20 sacks, if not more. I'll have him as defensive player of the year this year.
I have Aiden Hutchinson, defensive player of the year. I think if he stays healthy, stays on the field, he's just going to be a disruption. Sacks, tackles, people are going to be double teaming him. He's still going to make a play. I just see big things for him. Ron, who is your coach of the year?
Yeah, not a lot of research here. This is almost like a crapshoot because there's so many coaches I think that deserve it that get overlooked because their teams win every year. But I'm going to give it to Tomlin, and just because I think they'll have a good season, they'll make a playoff run a little bit, and I think he'll finally start to get some recognition, much needed recognition, and stay off the hot seat.
I'm going with Mike Vrabel. I think that 3 wins last year, he's probably going to double that for sure. He's going to get I'm not saying that he's going to be anybody good on the schedule because it's so easy. But I think that he gets voted because this the hype train left a long time ago as soon as he signed. So I think he's going to get it. Who is your NFL MVP?
Yeah, you mentioned his name, Burrow, and the season he had last year. I thought he was honestly the best quarterback last year. It's just that his team and the defense let him down. I think I'm going to go with him to win the MVP this year.
I'm going to go with the reigning MVP, Josh Allen, and it just has nothing to do with Hard Knocks. I just feel like he's got weapons this year. I don't think he had the same weapons, or at least, let's be honest.
They were younger.
Cook, they were young. Keon was young. I think they got rid of, what's his name? They traded for him in the middle season, but for nothing. So I think he's going to do better. So I'm giving it to Josh Allen. Ron, let's go in the prediction for passing leaders. Who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going for Josh Burrow. I think he's going to lead the league in passing yards. I think that team is going to pass a lot. I think they'll score a lot of points. And I can see him leading the league in passing.
Yeah, I agree. I went with Joe Burrow too. I think that, yes, Josh Allen is probably going to get the MVP, but the numbers are going to be all Joe's numbers. So I went with Burrow's. What about the TDs for passing leaders?
I'm giving that to Burrow as well. I think, like I said, I think their offense is going to score a lot, and he'll be at the helm of that. I don't know what he threw last year as far as touchdowns, but I can see him being up there again and leading the league.
Yeah, I think it's going to be between Joe and Josh Allen. I think Joe Burrow has more weapons. Higgins is back. Jamar Chase. I don't know who the tight end is right off the bat, but he has weapons, but then Josh Allen has weapons too. So, yeah, I like the tight ends that Josh Allen has for the Bills. So, I went with Josh Allen.
Notice the names we haven't said yet. Mahomes, right? Lamar Jackson.
Because Mahomes, statistically, he's not really somebody who's going to be breaking records, right?
No, he's put us up like 30 something.
30 touchdowns?
Yeah.
When was that? What year was that?
We'll pull this up.
Yeah, pull it up.
Every year.
I don't think that's high.
Yeah, I think every year well, let's see. Last year, you're right. 26.
Yeah, I don't
27.
Yeah, I don't think he goes that high.
But he had 41 and 20, and then 37 and 38 years.
Probably those MVP seasons.
Right.
But I don't.
He put up 50 in 2018.
Yeah, and he's on the decline, let's be honest.
Is he? Okay.
He's going to win in the fourth quarter if you're down by one score, but And same thing with Lamar. He's not a passing quarterback. So come on.
Yeah, we're doing some foreshadowing here when we talk about quarterback rankings in a couple weeks. It'll be interesting, the conversation I think we'll have about all these quarterbacks and where they're at in their careers.
Yeah. Who do you have as rushing leader for yard?
Yeah, it's got to be Saquon Barkley. But I don't see anyone else that can really match him, to be quite honest, with leading the league in rushing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be Barkley all the way. Eagles, they look strong, they look good, so I'm going with Barkley. What about leaders in TDs for rushing?
Give it to Henry. Barkley, his numbers are going to be limited. What's a little bit because of the tush push. They won't do that as much or at all really with Lamar. So I think Henry's touchdown numbers will be up there.
I'm actually changing minds to Jackson. I think that he's just a running quarterback, so I think he's going to be up there. I don't know if he's going to beat Derrick Henry because they use him in short yardage situations with Henry, but I'm going to go with Jackson to be the rushing leaders. What about receiving leaders in yards and receptions? Sorry.
This is going to be a surprise here. I'm going with Ladd McConkey. He had a heck of a season last year. I'm trying to pull up his stats right now. I think, the Chargers are going to have a pretty good season. McConkey last year was his rookie year. Had 112 targets. Where's the receptions on here? Finished with 82. But I think he's going to make a huge leap this year. Go well over 100, and I'm going to give him the reception leader.
I'm going with Jamar Chase. I think that if he's going to get the offensive player of the year, either's going to have a lot of catches, a lot of receptions, and a lot of yards. So I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. Who is your receiving leaders in yards?
Leaders in yards, I'm giving that to Chase. I think he's going to go off. He went off last year, 1,700 yards receiving. Won't shock me if he repeats those numbers or get close to those numbers at least.
Yeah, I actually went with Justin Jefferson, but now I'm having second thoughts just because JJ McCarthy's throwing in. So far, they had joint practices on Wednesdays and today, and it doesn't look good. They were saying JJ McCarthy was all over the place. He got picked a couple of times. So, yeah, right now I have Justin Jefferson, but I may change it before the season starts. What about your receiving leaders in touchdowns?
Yeah, so last year Chase won this with 17 as well. I don't see him getting that much this year because I do think Burrow will mix it up a little bit better than he did last season. So I'm going somewhere different, and I'm being a homer here. And a lot of this is based on what I've seen at Steeler camp, but I think Metcalf is going to have a huge year when it comes to yards and touchdowns. I think he'll get in the end zone a lot.
I think that they'll use him when they're inside the 20, 1-1. I can see that. I can actually see that. I don't know if he's going to be the leader, but he's definitely going to get a lot of touchdowns. I went here with Nico Collins. I think that CJ Stroud bounces back. I think Houston bounces back. And Nico Collins is part of that bounce back. So I got him. Who do you have for sack leader?
TJ Watt. Again, I had him as my defensive player of the year. So in order to do that, I think he's going to have to probably lead the league in sacks. So I have him as my leader.
Yeah, I went with TJ Watt too. I think that he just got that big contract. He needs to just play. Because as soon as he takes his game off or he gets injured, he's going to hear. But Pittsburgh, I don't know. Maybe they're like a nice fan base. They don't do that. I don't know. Who is your winless team? Last winless team?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's hard to figure out. You have to look at everyone's schedule, see strength of schedule and all that stuff to start with. I went straight to Miami. There's just so much I see them having a really down year, and we'll talk about, our predictions for over-unders and stuff, but I think Miami is going to be the last winless team.
I went with New Orleans because if you don't know who your quarterback is, you're in trouble.
Know. It's Shuck, without a doubt.
Who is it?
Shuck, Tyler Shuck.
I don't even know who that is.
Well,
is he a rookie?
You're going to find out. Yeah, he's a rookie. He's a real deal.
All right.
He was linked to
every time you say he's a real deal, but a rookie, he's not.
Okay.
So don't tell me he's good.
The guy has talent. He is a. I don't want to put all this pressure on him, but he's a scaled down version of the Chargers quarterback. I think in terms of arm strength, the throws that he can make, he is really good. But he's also not always accurate. Doesn't always go through his reads and stuff. He still has a lot of learning to do. But yeah, I think New Orleans is going to be better than people think, but not good.
Yeah, I think they're the last one. I mean, they have a pretty easy schedule because they play the NFC South. But yeah, who is your last undefeated team?
I went with Philly. I think they're the best team in the NFL. I think last year is a jumping off point. I think they're only going to get better, to be honest with you. There'll be a thorn in everyone's side for the next 2-3 years or so.
I was going to go with the Eagles, but they've been in a pretty, except for the Giants, they're in a pretty tough division. So I didn't want to go. I went with San Francisco because they have an easy schedule, and really I don't know who there on that division is going to give them trouble other than what? LA Rams maybe, because they have a good offense, but I don't trust anybody else in that division, so I went to San Francisco. All right, Ron, let's do the over and unders, and let's start with the NFC. And let's start with the NFC East. There was only one. Well, actually, go ahead and what do you have for the Cowboys?
So in terms of wins, right, 7.5 is where the line is at. Last year they won 7 games. I think, like I said, they're going to be better this year. I know their schedule is a little bit tough, but I'm going over. I think they'll get to 8 wins. And I think they'll surprise a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, I'm going under because other than CeeDee Lamb, well, they did have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I think that they're going to score points, but I don't think their defense is going to hold up. So I think that they might repeat the same record, even though Dak is, a really serviceable quarterback, but I just don't trust that defense, so I'm going under. What do you have for the Eagles?
Yeah, 11.5 point spread. They won 14 last year. I'm going over. They'll get at least 12 wins.
I'm going over too. I think the Eagles are basically like a lock to win over that 12 games. What do you have for the Giants?
Yeah, 3 wins last year. New quarterback, 5.5 is what the spread is. We didn't get to talk about the Giants. Would have been good if we had a chance to. I think all 3 quarterbacks are going to play, which means that there's some dysfunction on that team, and I have them going under and winning less than 5.5.
Yeah, I wish we would have talked about, because I actually like the Giants' defense. I think they have a pretty good defense, but if you can't score in the NFL, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And I think that I went under with the 5.5 wins. What do you have for the Commanders?
Yeah, so 12 wins last year. 9.5 is their over-under. I don't think they are going to surprise teams this year. I think it's going to be much tougher year for them. Having said that, I still think they'll get to 10 wins. So I got the over.
Yeah, I got the over too. I think they get to 10 wins. I don't think that they go 12-5.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I think they go over that 9.5 spread. NFC North, what do you have for the Lions?
Yeah, 15-2 last year. Most of their players coming back, right? So 10.5 is the spread. I got them going over.
Yeah, I got them going over too. I think that they were stricken by the injury bug, but they still won 15 games in a very, very tough division.
I think they got the toughest schedule too, right?
Yeah, they have.
One of the toughest schedules.
They have equal to that division, because they play each other. It's going to be tough. What do you have for the Packers?
They won 11 games last year, and that's with Love hurt.
He's hurt again.
9.5 is their over under. I'm going under. I'm just not buying the Packers. I didn't buy them last year, and they still got 11 wins, but something about that team I'm just not overly impressed with. So I'm going under. I think they'll, get to 9 wins, but I don't think they'll get to 10.
I'm going over with the Packers because the Vikings are not last year's Vikings. At least I don't think, with JJ McCarthy. And we don't know what the Bears are going to do, right? So far, what have come out of camp is that Williams doesn't look great. I know it's a new system, a new coach, whatever, but I'm going to go over. I think they at least get 10 wins. What do you have for the Vikings?
That's another tough one, right? Because 14-3 last year, but that's with a different quarterback. You got McCarthy in. I think honestly, McCarthy will be fine. I trust the coach. I think the coach is gonna be able to get the best out of McCarthy, but 8.5. I'm going under here just because it's his first time playing still. That strength of schedule, like you mentioned, that division is extremely tough. And for a first-time player, I know he's not a rookie, but it's really his first time playing. I think it's going to be tough. A lot to ask for him to get to 9 wins. So I'm going under.
I'm going under 2, even though I think they have the second best defense in that division. But again, it's the same thing with the Giants. If you can't score points, even though Kevin O'Connell is a better coach, I think, than Brian Dable. But if you can't score points, it's hard for you to win. So I'll go win under. What do you have for the Bears, Ron?
Listen, I've hyped up the Bears a lot in the last couple of years. They only won 5 games last year. The over-under is at 8.5. I'm going under. I do think they're going to be headed in the right direction. Let me make that clear, right? With Ben Johnson, I think Caleb will be okay. I think he'll be fine. But I still have them going under because of the strength of the schedule in that division and all that other stuff. I don't think they'll get to 9 wins.
Yeah, I agree. I went under. I don't. There's no way that they get to 9 wins. They might get to 6, 7, but not 9. Not in that division, anyways. I think they're gonna be beat up a lot by the Vikings defense, the Lions defense, and even the Packers defense is frisky. So, yeah. NFC South. What do you got for the Buccaneers?
10 wins last year. 9.5 is the over/under. I mean, I'm gonna have that team in the playoffs. So, give me the over.
Yeah, I went with the over. I think Mayfield is the established quarterback right now.
Yeah.
So it's like this is an automatic, and now they have a good running back. What's his name?
What is his name? I should know it. Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving. Yep. Thank you. Yes, they have a established running back who's pretty good. They got lucky in the draft there, so I like the Buccaneers. What about the Saints? We were just talking about them going winless.
Yeah, and I changed it here, right? So they got 5 wins last year. 5.5 is the over/under. I'm going to go over here and put them right at 6 wins.
I'm not as enthusiastic about them as you are. I got under. I don't think they win 5 games. I think the Bucks beat up on them. Even the Panthers beat up on them. And the Falcons, we're going to get to next. What do you got for them?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Penix. I never was. 8 wins last year. The reviews were mixed last year. 7.5 is the over-unders for this year. I'm going under. I think they're going to have a disappointing season. And, I think it's going to be hard for them to go back to Kirk Cousins at this point. See if Kirk Cousins even stays with that team when the season starts, but I got them going under.
Yeah, I think that the Panthers got better. The Saints, maybe not better, but I think that they're decent, right? Last year, there was so much hype with the Falcons and they didn't live up to it. And then they did that whole switcheroo with Cousins, and he went on, well, his wife went on TV and was like, we didn't know that it was going to happen. It's just too much drama. So I'm going under. There's no way that they repeat with the 8 wins. What do you got for the Carolina?
Listen, 5 wins last year. 6.5 is the spread this year. I think they'll go over. I think they'll get to 7 wins. Bryce Young has looked like a completely different quarterback. And they drafted really well the last couple years. So I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go under, but I think that they're going to beat up on the Saints, the Falcons. So I'm going to change this to over. I think that they're going to have a better season than 5 wins. So I think I'm going to go over. What do you have for the NFC West?
Yeah, so 49ers, I'll start there. They had 6 wins last year. 10.5 is the spread this year. I just don't see it. You talked earlier about that team and their talent and all the guys coming back. I just don't. I know McCaffrey's back. I know Brandon Ayuk at some point will be ready to play and he'll be back. I just don't see them getting to 11 wins. So give me the under.
I went over because easy schedule, very easy schedule, very easy division. Robert Saleh's back. That defense is going to be better, much, much better.
Yeah, but you lost Deebo Samuel. You got...
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Kyle Shanahan, doesn't matter who plays in that scheme.
Okay.
He's a good offensive coach. So I got them on the over. What do you got for the Rams?
I'm going under here. 9.5 is the spread. They won 10 games last season. I'm going under just so you know this entire division. I think this division is a little bit overrated here. And with Stafford's injury, I don't see them getting to 10 wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go under with the Rams too. Just because of that news with Stafford not being ready. I don't even know who the backup is. They're not going to win. I think that division is so bad. It's not as bad as the South, but it's just a lot of complexity. I'm going to go under with the Rams. What about the Seahawks?
Yeah, I'm not buying the hype too. A lot of hype around the Seahawks this year, and 10 wins last year. Easy schedule, like you said, with this division, but 8.5 is what their spread is. I still got them going under. I don't think they'll make 9 wins. So give me the under.
There's no way that Sam Darnold repeats what he had as the Vikings with the Seahawks. And even though he looked good, but it was Kevin McConnell compared to a defensive head coach with the Seahawks. I'm going under with him. What about the Cardinals?
Yeah, another team that I've just never really been impressed with. 8 wins is what they got last year, or 8 and 9. 8.5 is the spread this year. I'm going under as well.
I'm going under. I mean, come on, let's be serious. It's Kyle Murray. Kyle Murray, he's going to get hurt at some point. The dude is not made for NFL. He should have just played baseball. Seriously.
Well, I'm not going that extreme. I think he's, besides the injury, I think he's a serviceable quarterback, but he has limitations with his height and everything else. So
to me, him and Tua are basically the same quarterback. Okay, let's go in the AFC conference and let's start with the AFC East. What do you got for the Bills?
Yeah, 13 wins last year. 11.5 is the over under this year. Relatively easy schedule. I think should be no reason they can't get to 12 plus wins. So give me the over.
Yeah, I think that when you have the MVP and you drafted well, you have some weapons, give me the over. I think they're going to have 13 wins again. What do you have for the Dolphins?
Yeah, I mentioned I'm just not a fan of the Dolphins and what's going on there. I think that there's a lot of dysfunction on that team. I can see a lot of players getting traded at some point, including Tyreek Hill. I think Tua is sick of what's going on there. Give me the under. 8 and 9 was their record last year. 8.5 is what the over under is. I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm going under too. I think there's too much dysfunctional, and they had a joint practice with the Lions. They got destroyed. So they're not even ready to sparring with a good team. So give me the under. What do you have for the Jets?
5-12 last year. 5.5 is the over under. Brand new quarterback here with Fields. I have them going over, getting to 6 wins. Fields is a different quarterback. He still has a lot of limitations with throwing, but I think with him, his ability to run and the talent on that team, it's not like they're void of talent at all. I think they'll get 6 wins with the new coach too.
I'm going to go under because I've never been a Fields fan. I don't know. Is he going to play in week 1?
Yeah.
That roster is stacked. They have good receivers. They have a good defense. I just don't know what Aaron Glenn has stored. So I'm going to go under. What do you have for the Patriots?
4 wins last year. 8.5 is the over under this year. I like the optimism, like a lot of stuff coming out of Patriots camp, like what I'm seeing, but under for me. I think the expectation is a little bit too high for them. I can see them, getting to 7 or 8 wins, but give me the under here.
I think I went with the over. I think that that number is just about right. They might get to. Listen, I don't want to overstep in our next episode, but I was trying to find can they make a run? So, but I do feel 9 wins minimum. It's for the Patriots. I don't think that they're playoff bound, but I think that 9 wins sounds about right. What do you have for the AFC North Ravens?
Yeah, Ravens, 12 wins last year. Looked really impressive doing so. 11.5 is the over-under for them this year. I'm going under. I think, this division is tough, as we spoke about. I think Cincinnati is going to have a bounce-back year of sorts. So I'm going under 12 wins. So I think they can win 11 games. But I'll give you the under.
I'm gonna go with the over. I think that they there was a couple of games last year where they slipped through the hands. The Kansas City game, they could have won it, but the guy stepped on the line. There were other games that towards the end they needed to tighten things up. And I think that this year they're gonna tighten things up. So I'm gonna go with the over. They definitely either win 12 or more games. What do you have for the Browns?
3 wins last year. 4.5 is the over under this year. I still feel for whatever reason, people there's always too much hype for that team. The expectations are way too unrealistic. I do think they'll get to 5 wins, so I got the over here. But any idea of or thoughts of them being in playoff contention, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got them going under. I think that they might get to 4 wins, and that's about it. They still don't know who the quarterback is. Sanders, I guess.
He'll be playing at some point.
He'll be playing at some point, but they don't know who the starter is, right? I haven't even seen Flacco. He's on ice or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He already said today, they came out and said Flacco is the week 1 starter. Already announced it. Sanders got hurt yesterday, I think, in practice, or a couple days ago in practice. So his status is in question for week 2 preseason.
Yeah, that just means that they don't know who their quarterback is. Well, they know that Flacco is, but he's not getting any playing time.
Right.
So, because he's so old, basically what it comes down to. Yeah, give me the under. What you have for the Steelers?
10 wins last year with combination of quarterbacks with Wilson and Fields. 8.5 is the spread. Tougher schedule than I think last year, but I'm still going over. I think the defense additions that they've made, a couple with Aaron Rodgers, better quarterback play. Give me the over.
Yeah, I went with the over because when we did the roster, I gave them 9 wins. I think that 9-10 wins is about right for them. I think that they'll definitely beat that 8.5. What do you got for the Bengals?
Yeah, 9 wins last year with a crappy defense that played actually better down the stretch. The last 5 games, the defense improved. 9.5 wins or 9.5 is the over under for them this year. I'm going over. I think they're going to have a really good year. I like what I've seen preseason. They're not like, taking a nap. They're actually playing their starters this year. I think they're serious about making a change and making the playoffs. Last year left a bad taste in their mouth, and they're not going to have a repeat of that last year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I agree with the over. I agree with their attitude for this year. I think they know that the window is closing on them. And that fight, when was Burrows drafted? 2019, 2018?
I can't even remember now.
I can't remember, but I think that they know that window is getting smaller and shorter. And I don't even know how they came up with the money to pay Chase and Higgins. So
yeah, 2020 was when he was drafted.
Yeah, I mean 5 years, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time.
Yeah.
They just need to they have to hit on their draft pay, especially the guys that are playing defense. They got to hit on those for them to really, be a Super Bowl contender again.
What do you have for the AFC South Texans?
Yeah, 10 wins last year with the Texans. 9.5 is the over under. I'm still taking the under. Listen, I Texans, I can go either way here because I do see last year as like a little bit of a drop off from what people expected, but I think that's closer to what they are versus them being a really like a big threat in the AFC. So I'm going under here. I think they'll get to 9 wins, but not 10.
I think I'm taking the over. I think that CJ Stroud should be better. I think the offensive line should be better with the return of Nico Collins. I think that they're going to win over 10 games. So give me the over. What do you have for the Jaguars?
Yeah, 4 wins last year. Huge increase in expectations. 7.5 is the over-under for them this year. I'm going under. I think they'll be better than 4 wins, but they're not going to get to 8 wins. Give me the under.
New head coach, new system for Lawrence. Even though I heard good things about that coach, but give me the under. I think that they're definitely exceed 4 wins, but not 7.5. So give me the under. What do you have for the Colts?
Why are you laughing at the Colts? 8 wins last year. 7.5 is the over-under for them this year. I'm going under. Quarterback situation. Who the hell knows what's going on there? That might be even worse than the Browns. Give me the under there.
Yeah, I mean, is the Richardson experiment over?
I don't know. Probably not. Not at this point.
Because every time I see like a highlight reel, he throws like an 80-yard bomb, but then he can't do like a 7-yard press. So yeah, just give me the under. I don't know what the Colts are doing. What do you have for the Titans?
3 wins last year. 5.5 is the over-under for them this year. I'm going over. Listen, not a huge Cam Ward fan, but I think he's a better quarterback than what's been on that team the last 2 or 3 years. So he'll figure out a way. They'll figure out a way to get to 6 wins.
I went with the under because, you know what? 5.5. Oh, chance. I don't know how much Cam Ward will help them. I still think that they have a really bad offensive line.
He came up today and said they had the best
of course, he's going to say that.
Group in the NFL.
Well, isn't this dude still on the team, on the receiving corps? What's his name?
Thielen? I don't think so.
No, not Thielen. Because I think the Patriots were going to take him, and then he decided to go to the Titans. I don't know. I can't think of it right now, but they have good receivers.
That's the point, though.
They have good receivers, but the offensive line is terrible. And that's not good when you have a rookie quarterback. So,
but they don't have the best receiving room in the NFL. I can tell you that.
No, they have a good receiver. I don't know anybody else. I mean, the Jaguars have a good receiver.
I'm pulling up the Titans roster right now, so I see Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley. That's what.
Okay, then they got Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson, and then Eric Ayamanor. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but the rookie.
I mean, Tyler Lockett, I think his days, he was better with Seattle and then he fell off.
Yeah.
That's just Cam
That's
Ward
not
has
the
to
best
say
receiving
that.
room in the NFL.
He has to say that. He's obligated to say that.
Okay.
He doesn't want any drops. What do you have for the AFC West Chiefs?
Chiefs 15 wins last year. 11.5 is the over under. I'm going under. Listen, I think the Chiefs are the window. You talk about windows closing. I feel, and I like Andy Reid. I like Mahomes, obviously, but I feel like their window is going to start to close here. So I got the division is tough. This is one of the toughest divisions that no one really talks about. But yeah, I got them going under. They might get to 11 wins. They might even go like last year and surprise everyone again. But give me the under here.
Yeah, give me the under. I mean, you basically have all Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah,
in the AFC, right?
Exactly.
You got Harbaugh with the Chargers. You got Peyton with the Broncos. And then you have Carroll with the Raiders. This is not going to be a cakewalk. There's no way that they're going to win 15 games. So give me the under. What do you have for the Raiders?
4 wins last year. 6.5 is the over-under for them this year. Again, Pete Carroll there. Geno Smith there. Genty. Bowers, the best tight end in the league. I'm going over.
I'm going under just because the division is tough. They're definitely going to get more than 4 wins. I don't know if they get 7, but give me the under. What do you have for the Broncos?
10 wins last year. 9.5 is the over-under. Some people Super Bowl pick the Broncos. People love the Broncos, and I like the Broncos, but it is Bo Nix's second year. I think players start to have a drop off in their second year.
Well, there's film on them.
Yeah, there's film.
Tendencies, all that stuff.
Right. Having said that, I'm still going over the 9.5. I think they'll still get to 10 wins, and they'll muddy up that division again because there's so many good teams in that division. They'll figure out a way to get to and the defense is good, really good. So, I got to give the team, they have a good roster. So got to give them some credit. I think they'll get to 10 plus wins.
I think I went under. I think they're the third best team in that division. There's the Chiefs and Chargers and then them. But like we just said, the Chiefs are now winning 15 games again. So I just don't see them winning 10 games again. I think this is a really, really tough division. So I went with the under. What do you have for the Chargers?
Yeah, but again, tough division. You talk about the Broncos being third in division. That could be right. I got the Chargers over 9.5 is their over-under. They got to 11 wins last year. I think they'll be better this year. I know they lost their left tackle. They got to figure out how to replace that. But this would be if I was to put money on a Super Bowl team, that roster is built. I know there's some pieces they still need on defense and stuff like that, but they made the playoffs last year. This guy threw 4 interceptions in that game. That's not going to happen again. They'll get to 10 wins. Give me the over.
I went with the over. I think they definitely going to get maybe 11, 12 wins in that division. But do you think that if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, that Herbert comes back? Because we've been talking about Herbert forever, and I feel like he doesn't win in the playoffs at all. So, and I think they're going to have a better receiving core this year.
Slightly, yeah. Well, a lot of young guys, though.
A lot of young guys, but, McConkley, the guy that they had for years, he went to Chicago and now he's back. So they're not going to have that guy, Johnson, dropping balls left and right. I think they might be the number 1 team in the division.
I think so. That's what I'm saying. This division, I don't want to get too far ahead because I know we got our picks at the end of the year, but it won't shock me if, like I said, Chiefs are falling in my eyes. It won't shock me if a team like the Chargers or even the Broncos figure out a way to surpass them.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that they're definitely going to be the over, and they might win that division. So who knows? All right, Ron. We have the over and unders. We did the awards. is there anything that you want to tell next week? We're going to do the Patriots roster, but is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything you want to release, get off your mind?
Nah, man, I'm excited about getting to next week's podcast. We talk about the Patriots. We got some guests coming on. Hopefully, knock on wood, they show up. Lots of hype around the Patriots, so I'm excited to talk about them next week. And again, I just want us to, for all of the NFL teams, for us to get through the playoffs without any significant injuries. I know that's wishful thinking. That's not what usually happens, but if we can avoid as many injuries as possible, I think that's better for everybody in the league.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the Players Union is doing a good job putting some gap stops here and there, but again, it's injuries is just part of the game. It's just part of the game. Okay, so until next time, we're going to have episode 125 next week. We're going to have the Patriots roster. Hopefully, we don't get into any arguments with Ron, but I doubt that will happen.
Listen, you and I think, are more realistic people. Sometimes I wonder about you, but there's some people who are like more unrealistic about their team, and so we'll see.
I don't know what's there to wonder. I have a trophy. Do you want to see it? Because I have it right here in this room. So I don't know why you need to wonder. This is how it happens. This is how you, even though we've had guests that are all over the place when it comes to like the team's future, but that's what fans are, right? Yeah. Some are more optimistic than others. But, with that said, we'll see what in store for next week. Then after that, we'll have one more episode, and then we'll go into week 1.
Yes. Which
is in September. Everything changes. Now it's, the preseason is going to be over. So let's be ready. Let's do this. Where is the Super Bowl going to be this year? Is it Arizona?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are there any new stadiums?
They can't, please don't say LA again, because I feel like every other year is in LA.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Santa Clara, California.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
So Buffalo's building their stadium, but it looks like it won't be ready until next year. So, but they'll never play a Super Bowl in Buffalo. Come to think about it, right? Not with that weather.
They did it in Minnesota and it was terrible. They did it in MetLife and it was terrible because there's really nothing around it. So it's just cold weather.
It's just horrible.
Cold weather is not good. It's not good for games. So we'll have that. We'll have episode 21, 24. Until we meet again, I'd say peace.
Peace. All right, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Thanks so much for all your support and listening today. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email us at simsportsmedia@gmail.com. That's SYMSPORTSMEDIA@gmail.com. Peace.